Dude, no joke. The federal government, through the Pell grant and SEOG grant, paid for my gas money in college. Well, part of my college. We're going to talk about that today and how you might be able to do the same. Hey girl, welcome to Money and Mental Peace, a podcast for Christian college girls wanting to graduate debt-free. Do you procrastinate on homework while Googling easy scholarships and money for college because you're drowning in debt and student loans? Afraid you'll never have enough time and motivation to find ways to pay for college when you don't even have enough time to sleep or have a social life? I'm Kara. I too was a stressed college student and overachiever looking for money and mental peace. I wondered if there were other ways to pay for college, and I wished for a clear direction on how to do it. I wanted an easier way to fund college with less anxiety, but I kept telling myself I had no idea what to do, thought I wasn't finishing school fast enough, and thought I would never have enough money. Until some scholarships and rare school hacks got me through debt-free, and I can show you how to do this as well. In this podcast, you'll find mental peace, answers for your future, and enough money to kill it at college. So grab your cold brew and TI-89 and enroll in the most stress-free and debt-free class that you've ever attended. This is Money and Mental Peace. All right, so welcome back to Money and Mental Peace. I realize you guys probably don't know a ton about me besides just some of my college information, which totally works. But, what's some other random stuff? Okay, so I'm just trying to connect with you guys. I also need to stop walking around with the mic when I'm trying to record a podcast because I was listening back to some previous ones and it sounds all sorts of strange. Like I'm wandering in and out and moving around the room. Anyways, so by the time you hear this, it will be a while from when I recorded it because I try to batch and record a whole bunch of episodes ahead. But it's March and my mind is around, it's actually a little before, but my mind's around St. Patrick's Day, right? And I am very Scotch-Irish. Also some British, also some Spanish, Spain, not Mexican, and Native American, so that's cool. But I love Celtic stuff, right, around St. Patrick's Day, and I'm not really one to go out and drink and party St. Patrick's Day, right? But I love just having dinner and listening to cool different Celtic music. And come on, if you could marry someone with a different accent, what would you choose? I would probably be Australian or Scottish, right? Something like that. Or maybe some British. Anyways, I've just had all the feels today from really cool, exciting jig Celtic, Irish dance music, and also just some ethereal, Celtic women. I was literally dancing around the living room earlier because I dance the best and I sing the best when no one's around or looking. Or I'm doing dishes. Either way. I don't constantly listen to Celtic music, but I just love, the music from Braveheart is just, amazing. Do you guys like that kind of stuff? Let me know. And look at this segue. Let me know in our Facebook group. Was that a good segue? Because our Facebook group is called Christian College Girl Community - Scholarships and Graduate Debt Free. You can find it in the show notes, a link to it below, but also it's Christian College Girl Community. Let me know if I'm crazy or you like this type of music and would love to just fall in love with some dude from Scotland. Okay. Tying us back, I was just I need to talk about some other stuff just for fun, right? Those radio shows talk about random life things, so I guess I can too. But we are talking about college, and gas money, and the Pell Grant. Some of you guys know what the Pell Grant is. If you don't, it's not like a loan where you have to pay it back, but is federal and kind of the more well-known main grant that the federal government would be giving out based on usually a needs basis and income and whatnot. So at this point, at this point in the story, when I used the Pell Grant for gas money and such in college, I was an independent student, which means I was over the age of 24, and that means that they only count my income. And so I was working, but it was, part-time, and I was still living at home, so I didn't have certain expenses. I still, throughout my time living at home, I did a lot of chores, and I've paid rent and stuff. But anyways, so the government was like, well, you're poor, apparently. So here's grant money. And sometimes, I was like, I don't know if I should be qualified to receive this, like give it to someone who doesn't need it as much. But it was just there for me to take it or leave it. If I couldn't take it and hand it off or direct it off to another student. So, anyways, I learned how to handle it. It was a blessing to be able to get some of the Pell Grant. Funny thing about college, there never seems to be a break. Unless you take the break, I guess, right? But I'm talking about a break in planning for future classes and funds. Not a break to just enjoy the now. So I had to turn my attention to when I was going to university and needed all the money for being there, right? So the summer before I transferred to my university, I received my financial aid award letter from Eastern, and my tuition was a little over $10,000, but it was $12,000 to $14,000 with fees and books and such. I would be receiving about $6,000 through the Pell Grant, and like I had said, no, I didn't receive it previous years. It was because of my age as an independent student. So I also realized that since only my income was counted, I could have gone and done the Go Blue guarantee, which is offered through the University of Michigan for those students or families that earn $65,000 a year or less. I don't know if they're still doing it by the time you listen to this, but just letting you know to look at some schools in your area. I think it was you had to be in-state, but it could depend, on the school that you look at, that they were literally doing, if your family earns under a certain income, you got 100% full ride. So if I had just waited to go to college till after I was 24, I could have possibly done that. That's a great deal at a great school. However, I was already on track at Eastern, and I had been saving money and stuff. So I just want to throw that in there. There are some great full tuition options within a certain income level. And if you are over 24 and counted as an independent student and don't make a certain income because you're just by yourself, you can get some free school. So that's pretty cool. It was a delightful surprise to be able to get the Pell Grant. God knew in advance that it would be a provision for me, and I'm thankful. And I also received several $100s from the federal SEOG, which is a grant for students with the most financial need, which again was so weird because I didn't have that much financial need. I did to pay for college, let me be clear, but not to just live, right? I had a roof over my head, that sort of thing. Again, I didn't know if I needed to qualify for all of these. I wondered if I should send the money back to people who truly needed it, but I didn't know how to send it back to the government when they already just sent it to my school. If you're in a similar situation, that's a great sentiment, but the money probably can't be redirected to another student. If it's from the government, it's generally sent right to your college and ready for you to go. Go ahead and take that responsibility and blessing and use it wisely. So basically, this first year at a university, I ended up having more money than I needed for college. Literally. So I used some of the Pell Grant for gas money. Listen, sometimes when there's an overage in a student's account, money can be refunded to a student. If it's scholarship money that can be redirected to someone else, then it might not be handed over as often. like if you win this scholarship but you don't actually need it, a lot of times it'll go next in line to the next person at the school that needs the scholarship. Not always, but that's been something that could happen. But since the grant was government funding, there was nowhere else for it to go except my bank account. Wow. That was so cool. So what I did though, how I tried to handle it well, was I didn't just spend it on frivolous stuff. I spent it on what I was doing for school. So I had school paid for. I used some probably for books, or had books paid for. And I'm like, well, I need gas to get to school, so I used it to pay for my gas money. If you believe you may qualify for a refund from your school, be sure to pursue it. Like, call financial aid. Sometimes they're behind, sometimes they don't see it, or you might need to request the refund. But don't leave it up to others. Pursue that money. If you think you have more applied to your account than is needed for tuition, check and see if the school will send you a check. And then perhaps you too can use it for gas money.
Hey girl, it's Kara a few days later, finishing up this podcast episode. If you're curious if you can do this at your school, if there's any issues that are coming up, have any questions about this, go ahead and pop over in the Christian College Girl community on Facebook and let us know your questions, what you liked about the episode, and let's get started staying connected and working together to get you debt-free. Again, that's the Christian College Girl community - scholarships and graduate debt-free. Thanks, guys. Bye. Hey, girl. Okay, so before you run off to calculus, if this podcast has brought you any encouragement, would you please write a review on iTunes or take a screenshot, post it in your Insta stories, and tag me. Let's tell the rest of our stressed sisters that more money and peace can be attained outside of the conventional way of doing college. See you next time. Love and prayers, Kara.